What's up, everyone, and welcome back. You are watching another episode of Well-Rounded Individual. I'm your host, Adam Schindler. Guys, if you guys are watching this right now, please do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button on my YouTube. Hit that follow button on Spotify. That's how I'm able to grow the show and just continue bringing powerful and valuable content for you. Today, I have another amazing guest, a guy that's been a really great friend of mine for quite a few years now. He is a Boston, Massachusetts native, a Division III former collegiate football player. He's a CrossFit athlete, former triathlete, and the head trainer at the Strip Barbell. Welcome to the show, Jared Barros.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thanks for being here, man.
Yeah,
I'm super
course.
pumped to have you here. And, you know, I think we probably had 100 conversations that could have been a podcast.
Oh my God, probably 200
in life. So super happy to have you here and just be able to sit down and really dig into like who you are and like everything that you've done and like what you plan to do. And because I know that you have so much value to bring to everyone that's watching and just fun conversation.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely. So first things first, every single guest I ever have on this show, I always ask them, with the show name being Well-Rounded Individual, what are some like characteristics of a well-rounded individual, or how would you describe that? What are some just some attributes of a well-rounded individual that you would give to someone?
For sure. I think the first and foremost, I think fitness has to be in there in some way. I think me and you would both agree there. We're both in the fitness world.
Absolutely.
You can't be well-rounded without taking care of your body. And I don't think you can be well-rounded without taking care of your mind. So whether it's reading, therapy, anything that's therapeutic, calms one down, I think both of those have to be in a well-rounded person.
Mm-hmm.
I think someone who's socially intelligent, anything like that, I would say those are probably my big three. Working on fitness, working on your mental, working on your social. I think that makes a well-rounded individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, that's a big thing too, because you know, I think we both have encountered those who are very in shape and very fit, but not quite aware.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Not quite well-rounded upstairs.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the thing is like when you tap into it, you can use fitness to help yourself cerebrally. You know, I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I love fitness so much is because I think that, I mean, there is research that backs this up as well, that fitness improves your brain function. So being able to incorporate everything is a big part of it. Agreed.
I think even for me personally, fitness is therapeutic. Don't get me wrong. There's times where I'm very frustrated with fitness because I'm not happy with, you know, my numbers or my results in the gym. But at the end of the day, it's always something I do, you know, 5-6 days a week. So 100% therapeutic.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, where would we be without it?
Yeah, 100%. Not right here.
Yeah, that's for damn sure. So let's kind of get into let's dig into who you are, because, you know, I've known you for quite a few years, almost the whole time you've lived here. Probably I've met you within the first year that you lived here, probably.
I'm about 6.5 years in. So you've probably known me for 6 years now.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. So you grew up in Massachusetts, athlete your whole life, and then you go and play college ball.
Yep.
And then did you move to Vegas like directly after you finished university?
So I did 4 years of undergrad, small school in Rhode Island, and then I did 1 year grad program. So I got my MBA, and 10 days after I graduated, I drove across the country, moved to Vegas, moved in with my aunt and uncle out here, and initially wanted it to be a pit stop before moving to San Diego, but you know, I was struggling to find work in San Diego or anything like that, and I've been here ever since, but I fell in love with Vegas, so I see myself here for a while.
Yeah, man, me too. I love Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's hard to explain to people who don't understand, because Vegas, everyone thinks the Strip or downtown or whatever, but there's such a community in Vegas, especially in the fitness industry, that isn't about even competition, right? It's just making people better.
100%.
And people that you see that push you, that are your friends. The weather. I mean, it gets hot here, but it's sunny all the time. That's one
Yeah.
thing I tell people. I'm like, man, like, yeah, I can deal with the heat, but like, and growing up in the Northeast, there's like a week or two every year where you just don't see the sun.
Oh, it's more than a week or two.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. And with the sun being out here all the time, it's easy to like have just a great feeling about it. And I understand why so many people fall in love with Vegas.
Yeah.
As long as you keep your nose clean.
Yeah, for sure. Literally.
Yeah. Literally. Keep your nose clean, everybody. All right. You know who you are.
Yeah, no, I love Vegas. Yeah, a little bit about me. Like I said, moved here 6.5 years ago. I was struggling to find work, like I said, in San Diego. So I started looking here. I found a job on Craigslist. That was my first job here.
There we go.
I was an executive assistant for this guy who I'm still in contact with and still fairly close with. He's just an investor, a business owner, and I would just work from his house with him. I literally just filed his taxes, returned his clothes, whatever it was, literally anything an assistant would do.
Yeah.
And that was fun, but I knew it wasn't, a forever thing. It was
Yeah.
good money for, just moving here and whatever. And after that, I got this job. I was selling radio ads, like space on a radio station for companies to advertise. And is the worst job I've ever had in my life. I would go to businesses, I would cold call them, and people were like, oh, people still advertise on the radio? And I'm like, I know, isn't that crazy? I was the worst salesman there.
Yeah.
I would just leave for like 3 hours at a time, go home, and just tell them I was just knocking on business doors. I hated it, and I hated cold calling. I lasted there like 5 months, I think, before they had like a serious conversation with me about my numbers. And then I got a job for a digital marketing firm, and that was something that I was trying to get into. So I was pretty relieved. I was happy with that. I worked there about a year until COVID hit. During my time there, I was working out at Orange Theory with you. And then I got my coaching cert, and I got a part-time job at F45.
Mm-hmm.
And once COVID hit, I got furloughed. So I was just doing nothing except working out. And after COVID, Orange Theory offered me full time, and I just had a long sit down with myself and just really thought about what makes me happy work wise and what doesn't, and what I want to do. And I just decided to go into fitness full time. So I was at OTF, 6 days a week, full time, and haven't looked back since.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I miss those days. Those were fun days.
Those were fun days. Yeah. I think you were my first Orange Theory coach. 5 a.m.
Yeah. 5 a.m., man. And let's backtrack a little bit because I think it's going to be really important for people to understand that you didn't just go straight from like college athlete to fitness professional.
Oh, not at
like
all.
there was, the time that you were in those jobs in between, there was time there where, you were partying a lot and you had a different friend group and stuff like that got you eventually got back into fitness. So walk us through like that story, like how you got out of it, and then how you made like a friend group out here, and then how you transitioned into like getting in shape.
So when I first moved out here, I didn't know anyone except my aunt and uncle, but that doesn't really help hanging out with people my age.
Yeah.
So I had a couple girlfriends from college that lived in San Diego. And so my first month here, I went out to San Diego every weekend. And my very last weekend there, or not one of my last ones, but like my fourth weekend there, one of my friends was like, oh, I actually have a friend from college that lives in Vegas. And I was like, why are you just telling me this? Like, I've been out here for a month.
Yeah.
And so I just got connected through a mutual friend. We went golfing, started hanging out with this group of dudes. Everyone was cool. And like I said, I was 10 days out of college. And I just moved to Vegas. So I was more than happy to go out all the time, But for like 2 months, I didn't even have a job. So I was just spending money I didn't have, going out 3-4 days a week, drinking 4 days a week. And it was tough. I mean, I had fun, don't get me wrong, but I saw a video of me blackout drunk on a couch, shirtless. And I was like, holy shit, I'm getting fucking fat. And that was literally the next day I went to Orange Theory. I was like, I got to do something. The next day, hungover, was my very first class at Orange Theory. I was like, it has to change right now. And it's interesting. After like a couple weeks or, 3-4 weeks of getting on a routine and being like, all right, no, something has to change. You kind of see how I'm a big believer in you are who you surround yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was trying to make a change for myself, people show their true colors. So I always find that interesting because those kids that I was partying with for, 4 or 5 months and everything like that, I'm not friends with any of them now. And it's not on my end, I don't think. But when I was trying to better myself through fitness or whatever it is, I was just getting shit on. Like, oh, you don't want to come out? Oh, you want to go work out in the morning? Like, yeah, I do. Like I said, I saw that video and I'm fucking fat now, dude.
Yeah.
I got to do something about this. So I just find it interesting in that aspect. I'm friends with one person and she was the only one that was like, no, like do your thing. No one, she was the only one that was there for me through all that. So I find that interesting. That's probably the biggest thing I've learned about, you are who you surround yourself with. Because now I surround myself with people who want to work out. And if roles were reversed, if I was the one that was like, oh, let's go drink every day, let's go do this, the people that I'm with now would be like, hey, is everything good?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Are you okay?
You're not working out? Like, is everything good? And if I do miss a couple workouts in a week, I get 3 or 4 texts every time.
Yeah.
Whether it's like I'm sick or if I'm out of town and they just didn't know, like that's the people you want in your life. So
yeah, for sure.
All the changes were for the better, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I really like to hear that story, like from you, because I didn't know you at the time and I saw that change firsthand.
Yeah.
Because I saw you come in. I wouldn't say you were fat.
I was thick.
You were fatter than you are now.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You were definitely. You looked like you'd been drinking for a while.
Yeah,
but you weren't obese or anything. You were just like how anyone can get when they take 6 months and do nothing but party.
Yeah.
But I saw you trim down and trim down and trim down and trim down because you were there consistently. You were there at all my classes.
Yeah, 5 a.m. every day.
But the cool thing I think about Orange Theory is that when you were so consistent with it, I saw you trimming down, but I also saw you getting faster.
Yeah.
And I saw your performance like go more and more and more and get better and better and better. And you came to the point where you came in and it was like a normal class, but then it got to the point where you were the best person in the class. You're the fastest person in the class. And then it came to the point where I was the fastest guy there. And then we're running together.
Yeah, those were fun days.
And that was really fun back in the day when we would have those type of days. So COVID happens. You're in a corporate job. And then I was telling you out in the parking lot, we had a conversation, I remember, because by this time you were already in good shape.
Yep.
And, training at Orange Theory, had you been at F45 at all?
I was at 45 before Orange.
Before the pandemic.
Yeah, I stopped coaching because of COVID.
Okay.
So yeah, just before COVID.
Okay. So during the pandemic, we're just like, working out all the time, and getting a stimulus check every couple weeks. And we were having a conversation. You're like, it's basically like we're professional athletes.
That's right.
And so that was something that I will always remember that conversation because I was like,
I think we were on a run or something. I was like, this is the best, man. Just getting paid to work out every day.
Yeah,
this is
I
the
know.
life.
Yeah, I know, right? Isn't it funny too that if you think back about that, like there were people who because we all the people in our friend group, or the friend group that you and I have connected, everyone used COVID to get in better shape.
Yeah.
I don't think I know a single person that went the other way.
No. And I'm sure there are people, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I said, you are who you surround yourself with.
Yeah, for
everyone
sure.
we're surrounded with use that to work out, use that to get better. So it is cool to see.
Yeah. So then COVID ends and then we come back and you go full-time OTF.
Yep.
And you and I are both coaching at South.
Yeah.
So you would do 8:15. You would coach right before I would coach.
Yeah.
So that was super fun.
Yeah.
And then
I know where this is going.
yeah. then around the same time, I think I got fired first.
I think so too.
But we both got fired
Yeah.
through COVID for different reasons. And we were both forced to go independent.
Yeah.
I got fired because of like a COVID thing.
COVID rules, yeah.
COVID rules. And you got fired because you were just literally just like being what a personal trainer does, like a good fitness person. You were being entrepreneurial and training people on the side in your fitness business. They're like, oh yeah, good for you at first. But then it started to grow.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, we can't have that. Corporate OTF was like,
Oh yeah.
oh, you have to be our like puppet or
Or you're out.
you're out.
Yeah.
And so you got pushed out because of that as well.
Yeah, my training just started really growing, and it was obviously people from Orange Theory. There was a people from, F45 or something like that, but where I mainly was Orange Theory. So people, and you and I have always lifted, right?
Mhm.
So, not talking down on anyone, but if you look at your standard Orange Theory coach, they're not really lifters. So you
Mhm.
and I stood out 100%. So people would come up to me and be like, what do you do outside of here?
Mhm.
And I'd be like, oh, I lift 3-4 times a week, and then I do Orange Theory.
Mhm.
And people were like, oh, I want to do that too. So I was training one person at their house. And then once I had 3 or 4 people inquire about training, I found a gym and just started training them there. And I slowly started dropping Orange Theory classes because I was making more money doing training
Yeah.
for a lot less energy, honestly.
Mhm.
And once I just slowly started dropping classes, Orange Theory just slowly became more annoyed.
Right.
And they started cutting my classes without telling me, which, if you know me, I'm going to speak my mind about something.
Yeah.
So I spoke my mind. And then, they had, a couple corporate people come in and fire me. And I was like, sounds good. And
See ya.
the one cool thing I'll always remember about this, because at that point I was working Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays. So I was personal training Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
Mhm.
And I texted every single one of my clients and I said, I have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays open. Anyone who wants it, just let me know what time. And by the time I got home, I had 5 or 6 hours scheduled Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Is it?
And I was like, I think I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
And that was a really good feeling.
Yeah. That's so cool to hear, because you were doing the right thing. Because if you want to make a living coaching and being a personal trainer, you have to work for yourself.
100%.
You have to. And you have to have a diverse skill set in different areas of expertise, right? You can't just work for a corporate place that's not paying you what you could easily make somewhere else. But you're helping people too, because I love Orange Theory. Like after I got fired, I was a paying member there for like a couple years because I like the workout so much.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you want to be in the best shape you can be in, you literally have to supplement other things.
100%.
If you want to be strong, you have to supplement other things. And a lot of, I think, females get kind of caught up in the OTF world because they want to lean out. And there comes they will at first, but there comes a certain point where you have to lift more weights than what you will at OTF in order to lean out past a certain point.
Agreed. Leaning out isn't doing cardio all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
It's lifting heavy weight and
it's changing your
very
composition.
little body fat.
Yeah,
That's
exactly
what it is. So it is. You do have to do other
Right.
things outside of running on a treadmill or outside running, and as you know and as I know. So.
Yeah. So you were doing the right thing. So you weren't trying to like cheat or OTF.
No,
you
not
were
at
trying
all.
to help people and help yourself. And
Yeah.
I think that the universe rewarded you
Yeah.
at the end of that. The same thing happened with me too. When technically I was on a 2-week suspension.
That was one of the funniest days of my life, dude.
Yeah, technically I was on a two-week suspension. And I'll just tell the whole story.
Oh, for sure. I would love to relive
So
it.
what happened, the reason why I got fired from Orange Theory is because back during the pandemic, we had, at first Nevada was cool. And they're like, oh yeah, I guess there's this virus. a cough, a cold. Might catch shit for that, but remember when it first came out, all the other states were having masks and like we didn't have masks.
Mm-hmm.
And then we did have masks, but you didn't have to wear masks to work out. And then they took the mask away. But then they came back and they said, now you have to wear the mask when you work out.
Yep.
And then they took it away and then they brought it back. And I'm like,
Yeah.
What is it? Like, what is it going to be? So this was March. I remember it was March 4th of 2021. So it was almost a full year afterwards. And they'd already taken masks, put it back, taken masks, put it back multiple times. And there was this lady who's in the class. And mind you, people are running hard on a treadmill with a freaking mask on. So bad for you. Like, it's dangerous.
And it was hard. I mean, we took class with masks on.
Yeah.
You're suffocating.
Yeah. You're
like if you're
suffocating.
sprinting a mile with a cloth around your face, it's tough. And
so, yeah.
It got hard.
It got really hard. And this was already like, we were already past the point where like, why are we wearing masks when we're working out now? Like, this makes no sense. This is the healthiest place that you can be to better yourself. Well, in my classes, I was just basically, and this particular lady had already complained multiple times. And at the end of the class, I was like, at one class a couple weeks prior, I was like, you guys, she like said something to the front desk, like, there are people pulling their masks down in there and he's not saying anything. And I would like announce, be like, I'm not going to say anything to anybody if they pull their masks down, because to me, oxygen is more important. And so I remember it was they were doing step-ups, and they were facing each other doing step-ups. This guy who was a cop.
I know who you're talking about.
And this lady who, I don't even know what she is. But they were facing each other, but they were at least 20 yards from each other. But he had pulled his mask down under his chin, and she grabbed me by the arm, pulled me out of the room, and was like, I know you were talking about me when you were saying mind my own business, but this is endangering me and yada, yada, yada. And he has his mask down. Mind you, she's talking to me with her mask down.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, look, lady, first of all, don't touch me. Second of all, if you're that worried about it, go home. Or there are also 7 other coaches here. If you can get one of them that will force people to suffocate, by all means, take their class, don't take mine. She kept at me, and I was like, let me rephrase that. Get the fuck out of my class. And she was like, what? What? Oh my God. Did you hear what he said to me? I was like, yeah, I'll say it again. I was like, get the fuck out now. And
oh, it gets me every time.
And so I'd had enough. And she put her hands on me, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, first of all, you touched me, lady.
Yeah.
Like, second of all, like, you don't have a brain. Anyways, I end up finishing my block of classes, and they come in and they're like, hey, can we talk to you? And I'm like, sure, what's up? They're like, what did you say? And I told the truth. I was like, this is what happened. They're like, well, you can't talk to members like that. Like, we're going to put you on like a 2-week leave of absence. I really knew that. I don't know if they were going to bring me back or not, but I had already started my online program at this point that I created during COVID. And I was like, fine by me. And so I went home and I like doubled down, and I just really went into like, I had already hired a business coach for that business. And I really just doubled down on just like my marketing and like my outreach to like grow this program and to help people.
Yep.
And the 2 weeks that I was on my leave, I made double what I made the month before at OTF.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't need you.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, yes. It's like, I did the right thing. And obviously, like, probably if you're in a customer service job, you don't tell people to get the F out. But like, it was to the point where like, she was like being irate. And I was like, I know how to deal with people like you. You're not going to bully me.
Yeah.
Like, get out then. And so anyways, I got fired, and that was just the whole thing. And then it was not that much longer when
No,
you got
maybe like
fired
2
too.
months.
Yeah.
March. Yeah, like 2 months probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we both did very much better afterwards.
I mean, it was being fired is I said this before, said it again, the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
It just catalysted my personal training business, made me get out of my comfort zone. Honestly, you have to take a chance. Being a personal trainer, an independent personal trainer. So there's no bad blood between me and them or anything like that. Like it's literally the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Yeah.
And I've gotten more than half my business from them. So that's fine with me as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been going on 3-4 years now.
Yeah. It'll coming up on 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's been good ever since. Just been full-time training since then.
And I feel like we're so lucky too. Like, I think that we have the best job in the world.
We do.
Because we get to get up and enjoy and love what we do every day, but hang out with the people we love too.
Yeah.
I don't think you can beat that.
Not at all.
You couldn't, and we're our own master. I think that's so important. Like you couldn't put a number on, on my head to work for someone else.
No, I agree. It's fun. I mean, you're right. We have the best job in the world. My 5 a.m. clients are always like, how do you have this much energy at 5 a.m.? And I'm like, because I love being here. You know, like they're people, the people I train all day are people I love being around. So there's not one person I train that I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. Like every hour, and you've seen me at the gym, I have energy. I'm excited. Like I love getting people going, getting them riled up in a good way, sometimes a bad way. But yeah, I mean, you're right. We have the best job in the world. You get to help people. We get to make our own hours. Sometimes hours are tough, but I mean, it's better than doing it for someone else.
And the great part about it is there's no ball and chain tied to your leg.
No.
You know what I mean? Like if you're not feeling good in a day, you can talk to one of your clients and be like, yo, like, hey, let's postpone or whatever, if need be. I rarely do that. I know you rarely do that as well, but you form such a good relationship with the people that you work with that it's like, like they also want you at your best. Yeah. So it's like an atmosphere that just builds everyone.
I think that's a lot to do with like a trainer-client relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm very adamant that, not adamant, I guess that's not the right word, but I've always said like my clients are also my friends. Like there's not one person I train that I wouldn't hang out with. And I think that's important because if I'm like, hey, I'm going out of town for this weekend and I won't be there, no one ever gets mad. No one's ever pissed off. They're like, hey, I'm not going to get a workout in. Like I'll give them a workout they can do on their own. Yeah. But most people are like, oh, where are you going? What are you doing? Like they're excited. Like, what do you have going on? They're like, oh, you're going home to see your mom, see your family. Like, that's awesome. Like, I hope you enjoy it. There's no one that's ever like, oh, I don't get to work out this week. So it is, I think it has a lot to do with like how a trainer and how a client interact. And if you guys are friends, and there always has to be that line where like, hey, I'm going to push you and I'm going to make you better. Right. But if you're friendly with them and my philosophy is always, I want this hour to be the best hour of their day. People have jobs, they have families, they have kids, whatever it is. Stress, workout, like we said, is a stress reliever. It's therapeutic. But I also believe working out should be fun. Yeah. And so I've had sessions where it's turned into an hour therapy session where we just talk, because if that's what someone needs that day, then that's what I'll be there for. So as long as their hour with me or in the gym is the best hour of their day, I'm doing my job. Yeah. I don't think I'm the best personal trainer in the world, but I would put myself up there with anyone when it comes to like having fun, making sure people have fun in the gym, interacting with them, getting them to know everyone else around them, introducing them. I would put myself up there with anyone. Right. Creating relationships and creating an atmosphere. Right. That's the thing too, is that especially in our gym, no one's yelling at anyone else. No. Like we're encouraging people and like sometimes you'll make someone do something they don't want to do. Right. Oh yeah. But I hear people laughing all the time. Yeah. Like people are working hard, but we're laughing our asses off half the time too. And that's part of what it's about. Like if you can go somewhere and you've created like this high-end service that is also fun as hell, but you're going to work hard during it, you're always going to go. 100%. So
Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
So I don't want to get too deep into like, because we can talk about like training
All day
long. Let's get into just like mindset too.
For sure.
Right. So after football, like you've had an athlete mindset your whole life, and then we got an OTF, and you started doing triathlon after that, swim, bike, run.
That's right.
And so how'd that go? Like, tell us what you thought of it, and then the transition into CrossFit from there.
For sure. So it started with the marathon that you and I did, the rock and roll. Worst day of my life.
That was horrible.
The worst day of my damn life, dude. I think I was like 5 hours.
Yeah.
I cramped my quads, hammies, and calves on both legs. I had like the medics running up on me like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
But I did it. Still counts. 26.2.
Yeah.
And that was what? Before COVID.
That was November 19.
19?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, just before COVID, a year before. And then fall before.
Yeah.
During that spring, I was like, I want to do a triathlon. I had just bought a bike. I was like, I'm using it, like whatever. And I grew up on the water. I grew up swimming in the ocean all the time. I've always thought I was a good swimmer. I was disproved. But
I heard is that the hardest part?
I think the ocean swim that I did. So I did a half Ironman in Oceanside. So I've done 3 triathlons, 3 or 4. I did one out in North Carolina. I did a sprint, which is a half-mile swim, 14-mile bike. I think it's usually 12, but this one was 14, and then a 5K. And then I did an Olympic, which is 0.9-mile swim, 25-mile bike, then a 10K. I did that at Lake Mead here in Vegas. And then the half Ironman is 1.2-mile swim, 56-mile bike, and then a half marathon. The lake swims, I did pretty good. I was ahead of my pace, ahead of my time. But the ocean swim in California is like 6 a.m.
Oh, it's
cold ice
too,
cold.
Yeah.
The waves are coming at you. The shock of like getting in the water like takes your breath away. You're getting kicked in the head from people, like your goggles are getting messed up. So you're like treading water, trying to fix your goggles. I think I was 15 minutes behind pace in that swim from what I like projected myself to do. But I think the hardest part overall, the hardest one I ever did was the Olympic at Lake Mead. And I was feeling so good through the swim, through the bike, that I was like, oh, I'm feeling good. Like, I don't need to eat right now. And I like pushed off my nutrition way too long. And then I started running the 10K and I just started cramping everywhere. I was just falling apart. So yeah, that's why I was doing the ones before the Ironman though, was to learn. To
build up.
It's just to learn what I'm doing wrong and what I'm doing right. And so when I did the Ironman, I was eating all the time. Didn't cramp or anything. So it was good. I just paced it well. Never died out on anything, but yeah. The triathlons are fun. I'm glad I did them. It was fun. But the one thing I've learned about myself when it comes to fitness is I like working out with people. And it's a good challenge because everything you do, training, like marathon running or triathlon training, is alone. The only time you're with people is on race day, and you don't even know them.
Yeah.
But you're all there for the same purpose. Like, people ride by you or run by you and they're like, you got this, Yeah. Unless you're
Supportive,
competitively, racing it and you're in the first group, but everyone's very supportive. But the one thing I've learned about myself, from Orange Theory, from Tread Vegas, from the Strip CrossFit, is I love working out with people because I enjoy those days where I don't want to work out. Like, everyone has those days, but when I go and everyone's like, "What's up, man? How's it going?" Like, whatever it is, like, you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready to work out now."
Yeah.
Like, it's those days that you don't want to be there that really matter. It's easy to go when you're excited
and you're feeling
and
good.
you want to go and you're like, "Oh, I got to hit a big lift today." But it's hard to go on the days that you're like, "Fuck this. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well. I'm hungry." But when you walk in and everyone's like, "What's up, man? You ready to lift? Let's go." And you're like, "All right, yeah, I'm ready."
Yeah, hell yeah.
So I've learned about myself, like, I love group fitness. And that's how I found CrossFit. Is I was sick of triathlon, sick of running, and I was like, I need to lift again. And I was lifting by myself at Self-Made at our old gym.
Mhm.
Like I would have an hour between clients and I was just like in such a rut. Like my workouts were half-assed. Like I just wasn't pushing myself and I was like, damn, dude, like I need like a group class.
Mhm.
But I want to lift. So I Googled like group strength training with conditioning or something like that. And CrossFit came up and I was like, fuck CrossFit, dude. I'm so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
That's all I hear about CrossFit is it's stupid and you get hurt. And I was
Yeah.
like, but I kept researching it. It just kept coming up. And I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm going to give it a chance. I go to a CrossFit gym, not the one I'm at now. I'm not going to name it. And the workout was deadlifts and handstand push-ups. And one of the reasons after I did some research about CrossFit, I was like, I like to be challenged. So gymnastics is something I've never done. And there's gymnastics in CrossFit. I was like, all right, there's something I can learn. I know how to lift. I know how to run or bike, whatever it is, but gymnastics I've never done. So the very first class I ever took was deadlifts and handstand push-ups. And so we're doing deadlifts. And then I try to do a handstand push-up, like kick up on the wall. And the guy was like, oh, you've never done these before? And I was like, no. He's like, here's some dumbbells, just do shoulder press. And I was like, that's not why I'm fucking here, man. Like, I'm here to try something new and crazy scenario. The strip CrossFit, I go, my very first class ever is deadlifts and handstand push-ups, like a week later or something. And Coach Steph, that day taught me how to kick up, like patient, everything like that. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try it out. And I've been coming up on 3 years now, just been going 4 to 6 days a week, every week for almost 3 years. And I love it.
Yeah, dude. And you're a freaking tank.
I'm trying. I'm slow now, but
but you're strong as hell.
I'm strong, but I'm slow.
Yeah, you're strong as hell. I mean, what you're doing is working because that's the thing is like you're not as fast as you used to be like on a run.
No, not at all.
But you're still in shape.
Yeah, different kinds of shape.
You can do things like your muscular endurance is incredible. Like, and the way, like, honestly, like, I really, like, I did CrossFit for one training camp for one of my fights back in the day. And it was like an AMRAP, like muscle ups and like rope climb. And I got so tired that I was sliding down the rope that it just burned my legs. And I was torn up and I was like, fuck CrossFit forever.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I never want to do this again. So like that was 2010. So I've been saying
funny.
F CrossFit for 14 years.
That's so funny.
But I try to get in now because it's fun. That's the thing. It's like, man. Just like the people in the strip CrossFit where we go, it's fun and the environment's cool. And like, it's not like what you would think it would be, right?
No,
like someone being like, oh, like a drill sergeant type thing. It's like, it's a community.
The community that Joe has built there is outstanding. Like there's not one person in class with you that wants to see you do bad. You could be stronger, better, worse than anyone else in there. Every single person will cheer you on. And that's just, you don't get that everywhere. That's special. It really is. And you can feel it, you know, like we get a lot of drop-ins and everything. And, you know, they're starting to interact with members when like, you know, their first or second day in there for the week. And it's a special place, man.
Yeah. Cause they're like, oh, whoa, everyone's cool.
Yeah. Like what's going on?
Like, you're not trying to crush me. Like it's like, it's not like it's a competition within yourself.
100%.
That's how like true growth is accomplished. It's not, you know, obviously you want to have like people that are going to push you, you know, because I've seen other people do better that made me want to do better, but I always like respected and liked them for it rather than hated on them.
Yeah.
Because when you start hating on people, that's just going to drag you down.
Yeah. It's just not fun. It is. I love the push. And there's a handful of guys there that will send each other texts, you know, and be like, I bet you can't beat me today or something like that. But that's friendly competition. Yeah. And you need that, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Like being competitive is okay to a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very competitive. I love competing. I love that stuff. So I love shooting the shit with the guys about like, oh, I got you today or something like that. But it's all in good nature, you know?
Yeah. We all want to win.
Yeah, we all want to win.
Everyone wants to win for the most part. You know what I mean? But like, do what you can, you know?
Yeah.
And even when you lose, you're still going to get better.
Oh, 100%. It doesn't mean you didn't do anything.
Yeah, for sure. Sure. So something I forgot that I want to touch base on is food.
Food. Oh, yeah, true.
Because you were vegan for like 4 years,
5
right?
years.
5 years. Yeah. And then when did you start eating meat again?
is it a year ago, end of October, so about 11 months ago now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So it was pretty, yeah, I remember we were watching football at Whiskey down by the Allegiant Stadium.
Oh
And
yeah.
I was watching you eat, and I was like, yo, is that meat? And you're like, yeah, I eat meat again. I was like, oh, congratulations. Like,
I
I'm
think that's
so
the
happy
reaction
for
I've
you.
got. I think a round of applause is like the most common reaction. Like
Yeah.
finally.
Yeah. So take us through that. Like,
Yeah.
because I know you were feeling really good on
Yeah.
a vegan diet for quite a while. And then what prompted the change?
So the vegan diet.
Well, the first change to vegan, and then the change away from vegan over back to meat.
So I mean, yeah, pretty much the whole time you've known me, I was vegan.
Yeah.
5 out of the 6 years.
I
so-
remember when you decided to go vegan.
Yeah.
And you started going vegan, and I was like, we'll see how long this lasts.
Yeah. Way longer than you thought.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah, way longer than
I think
thought.
longer than I thought.
Yeah,
too.
you like lived
Oh,
lived
yeah.
as a vegan for
Yeah.
many years.
So I cut out dairy other than maybe a little bit of cheese, through college. Like I stopped drinking milk. I started doing soy milk. Our college had like a soy milk dispenser. I still find it weird, the milk thing. I don't think humans should be drinking cow milk. I stand by that. But so I've always had like a little soft spot for animals. And my uncle's best friend, the one that lives out here, has been vegan for I think close to 20 years. And we went on a vacation to Thailand, and he was with us. And I just started asking him questions about it, what he eats and everything like that. Because at this point, working out wise, I was really plateauing, and I was eating clean, like meat, fruit, veggies, carbs, like clean. Granted, I think I was still drinking a little more than I do now, but I was really plateauing. And I was like, you know what? Let me just change up the food. So I got back from Thailand, and literally the next day I was like, I'm trying it. And I was like, the one thing I told myself is I'll go day by day, just one day at a time. And at first it was like, I was leaned out so fast. I was like not eating enough, didn't know what to eat. And then I found like all these good vegan restaurants in Vegas, all this good food. And I started to put it back on a little bit. But over the couple of years, like I started to balance it out, like eating right with a little bit of, cheat meals here and there. And I liked it a lot. Honestly, I have no bad thing to say about it. You still get enough protein, still get enough fat, still get enough carbs, whatever it is. I think it's really easy I think there's a difference between vegan and healthy vegans, because
Right.
Oreos are vegan, man.
Yeah.
Sour Patch Kids are vegan. Like
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
eat vegan, you can eat all you want, but it doesn't mean you're healthy. Vegan does not mean healthy.
Right.
And I stand by that. There is a difference. So I just found it hard, one, socially, like going out to eat or drinks with friends and like, oh, I want some food, but like, or if I'm going to a birthday party, I'm like, I got to eat before. And then
Yeah.
I just got to stare at all that food over there. Maybe I'll have a celery stick or something.
Yeah.
But socially was one of the main things. But I don't know what it was. I was walking through the grocery store almost a year ago, and I walked by a 2-pound salmon fillet and a 50-piece shrimp cocktail. And I just said, fuck it. And I bought it, and I ate everything
Really?
in one sitting.
Yeah.
50 pieces of shrimp.
And 2
2
pounds of salmon. Damn, you
all
had
of
a
it.
lot of protein
And
that day.
Oh man, I was so full. Everyone was like, "How was your stomach?" Like switching over. I was like, I was just full as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't move for like 3 hours.
That's
And
great.
then I tried to just eat fish for like a month or two. Yeah, no, a month, because on Thanksgiving I was out to eat with my family, and I said fuck it again. I had some steak, and then it just went from there. And after that, it was just fully back in.
Right.
Yeah.
So have you seen like any type of like difference in like your performance since you switched back to eating meat? Have you gained weight, like good weight, like more muscle? Are you getting stronger? Has that been a thing, or do you think it was just kind of like a social thing?
I think I've definitely put on more good weight, but I think it's because it's so easy to eat variety. My one thing that I was like getting sick of vegan wise was I kind of felt like I was eating the same thing every day, which I'm okay with. I actually do eat majority the same thing every single day.
Right. Same.
But like I can have a little more variety with chicken, meat, ground beef, ground turkey, whatever it is. So I find myself just eating a lot more. I've put on more weight, but I've also gotten stronger and bigger, so I'm okay with it.
Right.
So I find it easier just to eat a lot more.
Yeah.
And, obviously the social aspect is a lot easier.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm
pretty funny.
I'm really happy for you.
Thank
because honestly, I would say, I think right now is the best you've ever looked
I appreciate
that I've
that.
known you, and you are so freaking strong. Like, just like seeing how the kind of weight that you're doing in the gym, and like, do you weigh 220?
Yeah, 220.
Bro, that's insane.
That's a big boy.
Yeah, that's 40 pounds more than me, a little bit more than 40 pounds more than me. But you carry it so well, because I would say 200.
Yeah.
Right. But like, you're just like dense.
Yeah. When I say 220, people are like, no way.
Yeah.
But I think of most of it's in my legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's badass. I would actually like to be, I would hate to see myself at 200. If I put 20 pounds of muscle on, I'd look like one of those like dogs.
A little pit bull.
Yeah. Yeah. With no neck at all.
I would like to be like 205, 210.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about like, just like business and stuff like that. Like, obviously you're a great leader, man. You've always been a great leader. Like, even before you were like in a leadership position, just like hanging out. Like, there's one thing that I remember your birthday last year. One thing that like sticks out in my mind about you is, and you've told this to me recently as well, but I remember you saying it last year, is like, you're like, I don't really my favorite thing in the whole world is getting everyone together and like seeing everyone have a good time, and like, just like being this person who like is like the catalyst to other people like having fun.
Yeah.
And that's really good leadership, like in a social setting, but also like within like a work environment. You know what I mean? I think you do a really good job of that.
I appreciate that.
So I think that what you've created at the Strip Barbell is just like a really great culture. And it's fun to be part of. So I'm really happy to be part of it. So thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. It is fun.
With like, and this is going to be really good questions for Joe too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. So Joe, if you're watching this, I'm going to ask you to come on next week. But, is there like a competition? Like what am I trying to ask here? Like, you're growing your business, but are you looking to compete as well? Is there like competition, like within, like, is that something that you're looking to like get more into as far as like the CrossFit side goes? What's the future plans for like your business and your competition life?
Competition wise, I mean, I'm not anywhere near an elite CrossFit athlete. I love like these local competitions that all the CrossFit gyms in Vegas do. We just had an all girls one 2 weeks ago, and that was fun to go watch and support. Yeah. And through the fall and a little bit in the spring before it gets too hot here in Vegas, there's all of these smaller local competitions, which are really fun to do. I always usually do a partner one, whether it's, I think the last one I did was 3 males on a team. Usually I partner up with Steph for male, female, but this November 9th and 10th, I'm doing my first individual one. So I'm excited for that. At Desert Oasis High School, the Vegas Showdown. So I'm excited for that. CrossFit wise, honestly, use it just to stay in shape and have fun and keep my physical and my mental strong. And just, I like to compete. I like to push myself. So I'll always do these, local competitions. I don't think I'm ever going anywhere with it. I mean, the pro level of CrossFit is insane.
And also just the time that you have to put into it.
That's their full-time job.
Yeah. It's insane how much time you have to put into the type of training.
Yeah.
It's completely exhausting.
Yeah. COVID days, man.
Yeah.
That's it. That was when we should have done it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's move back to mindset a little bit too. Because I think that's really important. People can watch this all day and be like, yeah, these two dudes talking about fitness because they're freaking fitness dudes and whatever. But, from the outside, you see two like in shape dudes, fitness guys. But we didn't get here by like just being dropped out of a fitness hat. You know what I mean? It was like we just showed up one day. You have to have like the consistency, the willpower, the mind, the knowledge, and the path in order to do that. What do you think is the most important mental aspect of, especially from someone who went from going from, you know, out of shape, drinking too much, seeing a video of you and being like, holy shit, I'm fat, to someone who is a leader in a fitness community that's full of like really in shape people? What do you think is the most important thing for someone to start off with and then to stay with it?
That's a tough question. The most important thing,
And it doesn't have to be one thing. Like
Yeah.
most important, that can be relative. So what are some things that are most valuable?
I think mindset wise, what really got me back into fitness was just, you have to do something to show up for yourself. I think once a day, one time a day, you have to do something for yourself. And for me, that's what started, getting back into the gym. I was like, I'm not doing anything for myself, like for long term. When I was just drinking and partying and whatever it was, like I was having fun, no doubt about that. But it's not good for you. Like it's not a long-term thing. So the one thing that I taught myself and told myself, starting 5 years ago, was I got to show up and do one thing for myself every single day. And whether that's working out, whether it's just, if it's a day I don't work out, whether it's just taking 15 minutes, just walking my dogs or whatever it is, just a little bit of time each day that I can think about work, life, whatever it is, and just decompress. And that, I think, is the most important thing. You do have to show up for yourself. And I think people aren't good at that, honestly. They don't think about themselves. And that's not necessarily a bad thing in short term. Like people are people pleasers and they're givers, but like you do have to be selfish sometimes. And it's okay to be selfish when it comes to something that's making you better, or selfish about something that's making you worse. If this XYZ over here is making you worse, be selfish and take yourself out of it. You're going to hurt people. You might lose a friend or two, but you do have to think about yourself in the long term.
And I really think that it's not really selfish, because like what can be interpreted as selfish from one end is just someone being selfish, right? Because when you do the selfish act of making yourself better, it makes everyone else around you better by proxy.
100%.
So kind of
really
the
selfish?
opposite of selfish.
Fair.
I'm doing this for you.
Fair.
And then another thing, community too, right? Like I think that that's probably the biggest thing, that because I am a super like individualistic like person. Like I played team sports, but I've always done like wrestling as an individual sport. MMA was an individual sport. I had teams, but like you don't have a team. Like you have a team, but you're on your own there. So even as a person that like comes from like such a super individualistic, I have to do something. That's the reason why I stayed at Orange Theory and I paid for it for years after I got fired. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to be around people. I wanted to see people, and I wanted to have that community. And I think that's part of what keeps people, and part of what keeps people who are like your clientele that you've had for years coming back to you is because it's a community. They say, have you ever read that book Tribe by Sebastian Junger?
No.
So basically, Tribe is like, I hope I don't mess this up, but it's a pretty quick read, but it's about just like how like as humans, we need each other and we feed off of each other. And back in the day, as hunter-gatherers, like there's 150 people in, a clan or whatever. And everyone had a use and value, because whether you were like the king hunter guy or the best nut picker there was, you know what I mean? Or like the lookout guy, everyone had a purpose. And so everyone had value. So everyone went, and that's a big reason why like society today is a little bit like downturned the way it is, because there's so many people isolated and they don't really feel like they have like a purpose or a reason or value. I think I'm going off base a little bit, but that goes back to fitness as well. Like keeping people engaged through community, because it's attractive to us like innately.
Yeah, I think community is so important. And I know we're fitness guys talking about fitness, but I mean, the gym is such a great place to find a community, build a community, join a community. Like, it is the best place to do it. You are surrounded by people who are there for the same reason as you, just to get a little bit better every single day.
Yeah.
And there's not one person, and if there is, you're in the wrong gym, or that person's in the wrong gym. There shouldn't be one person in your community, in your gym, that's gonna shit on you or give you shit for working out or whatever, make fun of you. Like, everyone in there is making everyone feel good about themselves and making everyone better. And like, community is so important. And I truly believe that. Like I said, 5-6 years ago, when I started hanging out with people that were doing the things that I wanted to be doing, getting better every day, running, like everything like that, like my life got exponentially better. My mindset, my mental health got exponentially better. And all those things are surrounded by fitness, but it's also surrounded by people that are just good people that are happy to see you becoming better, just as happy as they see themselves becoming better, So
yeah, and I think it takes a certain amount of like humility and like goodness to voluntarily do something hard every day. And I think that's the reason. I mean, I don't want to like blanket statement any type of like community, but I think that's the reason why the fitness community can be and is so uplifting, is because we all voluntarily put ourselves through hell sometimes, and there's every single person that's in the fitness community has had a day like you spoke of, like, don't want to do it today.
100%.
But when you go, you push through 100% of the time.
Yeah.
You're happy you did it.
The only workout you regret is the one you didn't do.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I think that's a great place to wrap it up.
Yeah.
I think that what you're doing at the Strip Barbell and within the Strip CrossFit and everywhere, that whole community, that whole block is just like super
campus.
Fun. It's like, it's like a campus. It really is. It really is. And it's like you're part of like a tribe there. So it's super fun. I'm super happy to be part of it. And I'm just really looking forward to life.
Yeah, me too, man. We're excited that you're there.
Yeah, and just like continuing to build and grow with y'all and beside y'all. So, dude, thank you so much for being here. We've already done an hour.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, well, 57 minutes or so. So yeah, thank you for being here, man. Let people know. Probably a lot of people who are watching this know you, but if they don't, let them know how they can find you, how they can connect with you, and just, what you got going on.
Yeah. Instagram is at Jared Barros, Barros. It's pretty much where I post everything, clients, workouts, everything like that. Anyone that's interested in training, hit up me or Adam. But yeah, man, I appreciate it. This hour flew by.
Yeah, it was super fun. We'll have to do it.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Come back anytime.
Especially like whenever like we got like big things coming up as well. We'll have to do one in November. Yeah. Like when you get done with your CrossFit competition, I get back from Mexico City. We'll sit down and talk about it.
Fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Cool. Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you made it this far, once again, I'm going to say it again, just like I did at the beginning. If you're watching this, if you love it, if you support the show, please subscribe on YouTube. Please follow on Spotify. Share this show as well. I really appreciate your support. I want to grow this thing as big as I can, just continue to bring value and bring, amazing people to come talk and, improve your lives and continue to bring value to you. So again, thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.